Hi guys, welcome to Just Par podcast. I hope you liked our first episode with Kabir, where we talked about Pegasus spyware scam. In this episode of Just Par, Kabir will share his experience during his days when he was in Kashmir, writing stories for Al Jazeera and other news dailies, and also the situation of agriculture in state of Uttar Pradesh. I hope you like this podcast. This is Kabir Agarwal on Just Par. But let's move on to some other interesting stories. I think you've been in middle of so many important and critical political agendas throughout your career. I want to take you back to 2016, if I am correct, when you used to spend a lot of time in Kashmir. Uh, you wrote a lot about what was happening in Kashmir. And I clearly remember you did a story with Al Jazeera in 2016 when pellet guns was the most talked about topic at that point in time. So tell us more about your experience when you were there, about the entire situation in Kashmir back then.
Yeah, so I think my journalism career began in Kashmir. I was there in 2015 as well, and then in 2016. In 2016, this was a few months the after Burhan Wani was killed in an encounter,
Mhm.
and Burhan Wani was a militant commander in Kashmir, and he was sort of the new generation of militants,
Militants.
and he was very social media savvy, so he would share his pictures, and he was popular with a large section of Kashmiris. And so his death in an encounter triggered protests. And after that, the thing, this happened in August, and after that I went in October, and the protests were continuing. There was curfew all the time. There was nothing was, even to just to have a meal, it was difficult. I was staying in a hotel all by myself. There were 80 rooms in that hotel, and I was the only one who had occupied one room. So I reported this story on kids being, basically kids who were victims of pellet guns. So a lot of people had lost their eyes because of in pellet gun firing. When pellet guns
Mhm.
are these, um, I think they are shotguns, pump action shotguns with pellets filled in them.
With pellets filled in. Yeah.
So if you would remember, pellets are the same thing as the charre wali banduk. Uh, so these, so one shot of pellet, it can fire a lot of pellets. I think around 100 pellets in one go will just
Okay.
come at you. So they can hit you in the face, they can hit you in the body, anywhere. So a lot of people in Kashmir that year in particular were hit in the face with these pellet guns, and a lot of them lost their eye. And I think around 15 also died because of this. So I was interviewing some people who had lost their eyes. So this the Al Jazeera story that you spoke about had interviewed this 21-year-old who used to work as a marketing executive, I think selling medicines.
Mhm.
And he says that he was just standing at a chalk when the police opened fire on him, or shot these pellets at him,
Yeah.
and he lost eyesight in both his eyes. And there were pellets still. He had had a couple of surgeries when I met him, but
Mhm.
there were pellets still inside. There were still pellets inside his forehead. There was pellets inside his brain, and those could not be taken out. So he had lost both his eyes. There was another kid. This kid was 9 or 10 years old,
Mhm.
who said he was playing cricket and he lost one of his eye. He lost one eye due to pellet gun firing. So a lot of people lost their eyes in that
Yeah.
particular year. Of course, that has happened again as well. It's not that this only happened in 2016. This has continued. I've not been back to Kashmir since then. I've been to Jammu, but not Kashmir uh, since then. So, others have, of course, reported on it
Mhm.
in much more detail and much more extensively than I've done.
Yeah.
So, but this is that. This is about that pellet gun story. And my experience in Kashmir was just um, eye-opening, remarkable, life-changing. because I met so many people who I had not known ever, but everybody welcomed me. I stayed with them. I mean, in Kashmir, it's normal to have, if you're going out on reporting,
Yeah.
you would have at least 2 or 3 meals in a day, because nobody would send you back without a meal. And these
Wow.
meals are heavy. These
Yeah.
are not like each meal at least includes one dish of mutton, and
And
so
I'm
these
sure
are
you would have
quite
loved
heavy.
that. And I'm sure you would
I
have
love
loved
that. Yeah, yeah.
that.
And this is the other problem with reporting, is that the number of meals and the number of teas,
Teas.
chai that you have to have
Yeah. Yeah.
in a day, and I am not a big fan of tea at all. And if you are going into rural India, then it's impolite to say no to tea.
Absolutely.
People get offended if you say no. So you have to have multiple teas, and these are very, very sweet. So it was. I mean, that was one of the things I would ask senior reporters, that how do you get around? How do you say no to tea, especially in rural India? It was a big problem for me.
You have talked a lot about agriculture situation in UP specifically, right? With Wire, there are multiple articles you've gone around, explored, talked to a lot of people. So, if you were to sum it up for a layman as to what is the exact situation, what is the problem we are dealing with?
In agriculture, it is, and people would be aware that farmers have been protesting for like 8 months now, almost on the borders of Delhi. So, and this has been an ongoing problem. It's been going on for many years, if not decades. So, the basic problem in the last few years has been problem of prices, that farmers are not able to realize a remunerative price for their crop, and this is true for
Yep.
most crops. That and the reasons why they are not able to get the price are many. I mean, also has to do with the fact that now we are producing surpluses in a lot of commodities. In the past, I mean, I don't think you might remember, but people older than you might remember that in the 60s, there was to be food shortages. India was ship to mouth,
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
would get food aid from the US. So the front page of newspapers would be filled with that the ship aa gayi, the
Yes.
ship with the grains has
The
arrived.
grain is
And
arrived, right?
the Lal Bahadur Shastri actually encouraged people to skip grain at least once a week. So from those days, we've gone a long way. Now we have surpluses in grains at least. I mean, surplus in the strictly technical term. I can go into more detail, but I don't think there's the scope here for that. But just
Yeah.
strictly in the
Yeah.
technical term, unless so that is why if there is more grain than there is demand for it, then the price will crash. So that is what happens with most crops, that prices crash because there's not enough market for it.
Yeah.
And why that has happened is again another extended debate to get into. But in short, it's the problem is of prices, that farmers' incomes have not gone up in the last several years because they're not able to realize a remunerative price for the crop. So you see prices of petrol, diesel going up. I mean, whatever you
Terrible.
bought in 1995, like Pepsi, a bottle of Pepsi was some 3 rupees or something in
Yeah.
95 or 96, and now it's 25. So, and
Yeah.
but I mean, the point is that the price of every other thing has
Every
gone
other
up.
object has gone up except for the
Yeah,
basics, right? Except
but
for
the
grains.
but the price of your food has not gone up in the same. And I mean, you think of it, the atta that you buy, the rice that you buy, is not more than, I mean, the maximum that it would have increased since the 90s would be 50%, not more than that. Uh, and for everything else. So that is why the problem is that in the end, that the consumers are not paying enough for the food that they're eating. In India, the problem also is that not all consumers can afford to pay. I mean, that would mean that they go hungry. That's another problem. So, which is why it's a very complicated, very, very complicated issue. But in short, it's one of price realizations and in incomes.
Sure, sure. I think I'm not sure if a lot of listeners have read about it, but I clearly have, and definitely it's a very complex problem. And the kind of in-depth study you've done on the subject, I know for a matter of fact the way you've traveled extensively across, spoken to so many people just to get the ground understanding. I'm sure it's very, very complex, and hopefully things improve for better in near future.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Well, that brings us to the end of our split 2 with Kavir Agarwal. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the podcast episode. If you really like the content, please do click on the like button. If you have not subscribed to Just Per Podcast channel on YouTube, please do click on subscribe and also click on the bell icon so that you get the notification. And if you have any feedback, please ensure that you leave your feedback in the comment section.